How you doing, my friends? Now, earlier this week, I got to talk to you guys about what I thought was the biggest news to come out of San Diego Comic-Con 2017, and that was that the solo Flash movie was titled Flashpoint. Now, you can watch that video where I talk about how I think this is going to affect the entire DC universe, but there was other big news that came out of Comic-Con that I just could not talk about, and that was the new trailer for Thor Ragnarok and the little teaser that we kind of got, from Avengers Infinity War. I personally think that there is a really good chance that Thor Ragnarok might be the best Marvel movie that we have to date, even might be better than Avengers Infinity War, and I want to talk about the comparison between the two. Now, if you are new to my channel, what's up? I'm the Jovenshire. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We talk about all things video games, movies, superheroes, comic books. It's just a place to get better information if you're a fan. I like to call it fanformation. Alright, let's get into the topic. Earlier this year, I was saying how I thought Spider-Man Homecoming could be the best superhero movie, even better than Thor. Spider-Man Homecoming was great, watch my review. But also, now that we're getting closer to Thor Ragnarok and I'm seeing more trailers, hands down, this is going to be the best movie to date from Marvel. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of Thor or Thor Dark World. He's too much of a, well, godlike character. When you have a character that is that strong, it's difficult to feel worried for him. Like, even when Thor lost his powers, I was just kind of bored. So I didn't really like the first movie, I didn't really like the second one, and I didn't care too much for the third one. But then we find out Hulk's in it, and everything that just keeps getting added on top of it just makes it this better movie. First of all, the director that they have for this movie, I was kind of worried about in the beginning. Now, all of that is gone. Taika Waititi, he's a comedian director who's also in this movie. I'll get to that in a second. He's making a comedy out of this Thor movie, and at first that could be conceived as weird and random, but everything that we've seen so far, including in this trailer, I'm just super jazzed about. At Comic-Con, I did have the chance to be in Hall H when they were going over all the Marvel information, and yes, they showed the Thor trailer that everyone's seen, but there were also two other scenes that just have me completely sold. First of which, going back to Taika Waititi, he actually has cast himself in the movie as a character. He's doing mocap for Korg. I believe the character's name is Korg. It's just a giant rock monster that Thor finds on this new planet. The scene is they're actually in this prison area before Thor winds up going into the gladiator ring. Thor's trying to find a way out, can't find a way out. He's actually just walking around in circles, and he doesn't even know it. But anyways, he's got this rock friend there that's kind of telling him, like, oh, yep, we're warriors, this is what we do now. And it was just, I don't know, it was lighthearted, but still worked in this world. And to see Thor in a completely different environment is exactly what this franchise needed. We needed to see Thor way out of his element, to the point that the movie felt like it was out of its element, and that's what Taika brings to this franchise, hands down. I also read that this movie has, they're saying that 80% of the lines in this movie were improvised. So they had a script, they knew where they wanted to go with it, and then the director just let the actors have a lot of fun with it, to the point where Mark Ruffalo came up to him afterwards and was like, hey, how is Marvel like not called and just fired all of us? And having that kind of energy on set can be a great thing, or it could be a very dangerous thing. Like I said, everything we've seen so far just points to great. Now, a big fear that I'm having about this movie is that it's going to be one of the shortest Marvel movies to date. And it's only around 100 minutes, so that's a little more than an hour and a half. Normally, a Marvel movie will run about an hour 50 to 2 hours and 15 minutes, so this is by far a very shorter story that we're used to seeing. And I feel like knowing that information and the last trailer really kind of puts in perspective what we're going to get story-wise and how fast we're going to get through that story. So obviously, I think Hela is going to wind up invading Asgard in the first 3 minutes of the movie. We are going to see Thor get kicked out and sent away from Asgard very quickly. He even says in the trailer that, hey, yeah, I lost my hammer. That happened about a day ago. So we're seeing that by the time this movie starts to the time he fights Hulk, that is like maybe 30 minutes of this movie. Then the giant fight happens between the Hulk and Thor. We don't know who wins yet, but we get some great dialogue there with Bruce Banner. Now, which reminds me, they did mention at the panel, I don't know if it's been reported on yet, that the reason we see the Hulk on this planet is because he refuses to change back into Bruce Banner. The Hulk loves this planet. He loves the fact that he gets to be a gladiator and is fighting everyone, killing everyone, possibly. And he doesn't want to let puny Bruce Banner have his way again. And so that's why in the trailer, we see Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, very confused, and he's asking, like, what happened? Did we fight? My guess is that Thor does win the fight because he's got to knock some sense into the Hulk and then gets him to change back. Who knows what actually happens? So then Thor needs to kind of get back to Asgard and kind of fix everything. So he puts together a smaller team of Thor, Hulk, Valkyrie, and of course, people love it when he works with Loki. So we don't know how he finds Loki or where Loki kind of fits into all of this, because last time we saw, he was pretending to be Odin. So we're still confused on how that transition happens. But there's the movie's just gonna be weird. There was a clip that we got to see at Hall H where Thor is strapped to a chair and he's like going down this long hallway to see the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum. And he's just like, they're using this time to give all the exposition, which I think is going to work perfectly for such a short movie. He's in a ride and he's just going through, there's weird music playing and they're describing what's happening. It's very Willy Wonka-esque, where they're going through the tunnel and he just gets freaked out and he's just screaming and screaming, and all of a sudden he's in this throne room with the Grandmaster, which we also found out that the Grandmaster is apparently the brother of the Collector, which we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. And they are these deities that are older than time itself, and that's where he comes into play. And just hearing Jeff Goldblum speak to the two characters that he was with in the movie, you hear that this movie just has a different energy that we've seen even in any Marvel movie, even Spider-Man. It's very exciting to see this refreshing take on this character. Definitely a fish out of water kind of story. So those were the two things that we saw at the panel that they didn't show in the trailer. That was the conversation with the rock monster that's played by the director, and then this Jeff Goldblum scene where we really get to see how eccentric this character is. But the fact that the movie's super short, the script, like, there's a lot of things that can be a little scary about it, but I think it's going to be great, even better than Avengers Infinity War. Now, I say that because when I saw the footage of Infinity War, and you guys can also comment on this as well if you saw the leaked footage, but Infinity War looked a little too crazy. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Again, Infinity War has everything from 2008 to present leading up to this giant war where people are going to die. But it looked like this giant CGI love fest, and that's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just, it was a little bit different. It looks like it's just a lot of chaos, and there's going to be a lot going on, even more so than we saw in Captain America Civil War. There are just a lot of characters. There's just a lot of people in Infinity War, and when you watch this teaser trailer, it's just visually, it was so much to take in, and I'm like, I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to think of any of it. Also, I'm basing this off of a teaser trailer that I saw while looking up at a giant screen, so I can't compare the two directly yet. I'll do that over time for sure, but I think that even with the shorter runtime, like I said, Thor is going to bring something to the table that no other Marvel movie, no other superhero movie has done yet. And I think that it's a very exciting and refreshing take. It's the same reason we like Deadpool. It was just a different type of superhero movie when we needed something different. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think Thor is going to follow in the same footsteps. It just gives us something different, and it's going to be very exciting to see it all happen. Though, I'm very angry to hear in the interview with the director of Thor Ragnarok when he was like, oh yeah, the movie's only 100 minutes long because you want to leave them wanting more. That's how you have a good story. But then he went on to say that there's going to be a bunch of deleted scenes, very funny, amazing scenes that they're leaving out of the movie. First of all, if you have a movie that is only 100 minutes long, and that is less than the average of all the other superhero movies, and you have great content, put it in the movie. What are you trying to do? Sell DVDs with deleted scenes? Who cares about the DVD? Just give me a great experience. I'm spending a lot of money and a lot of time leading up to this movie and of excitement. The least you can do is go ahead and put all of the best footage that is necessary to tell the story into the movie. Why would you not do that? That's just, I'm sweating because I'm upset when I hear that. Anyways, guys, now it's your turn to chime in. Tell me what you thought of the Thor Ragnarok trailer and how excited you are for the movie. Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think the runtime is too short? I want to talk to you about it in the comments below. Also, if you did have a chance to see Avengers Infinity War teaser trailer, which do you think is better? And again, if you were a new viewer to this channel and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscribe button because I would love to make videos for you to watch as well. So till the next time, guys, I'll see you later.